everyone, thanks for joining us. This is the first episode of the Canadian Spoilercast. Today we are going to be talking about Marvel's Infinity War. And today I'm joined by my lovely crew of Marvel critics. Dennis.
Hi.
Stephanie.
Sup?
Josh.
Snoogans.
And I am Steve Vegvari. It's a little Infinity War joke.
Yeah, I got it.
Right?
Yeah,
right, Dennis, that's a reference.
Yeah, it is a reference.
So usually each week we get together, talk about video game news, film, television, all that. But this week, just about Infinity War. If you're joining us for the first time, you may know that we are on iTunes, Google Music, podcast services around the interwebs. If you like what you hear, please leave us a review on these services, and you can even email us your comments at CanadianGeekCST@gmail.com, and we may even read it on the next show.
Woo! I don't know when the next Spoilercast will be, but join us in our regular show.
Yeah, I don't know. Depending on how this goes, it would be cool to kind of continue this.
Yeah, maybe do Ant-Man next time.
Yeah. So yeah, just to kind of get into it, as of recording this, it appears that it has shattered the domestic box office records, beating out Star Wars The Force Awakens with their $247.9 million in the opening weekend. Right now, I saw on The Hollywood Reporter that it just crossed the 250 million domestic box office line, which is crazy to me.
Nice.
It's insanity, man. It really is.
A part of me thinks people weren't exactly, how do I put this? It wasn't like, oh my god, I need to see this movie now, but it's like, oh my god, I don't want to be spoiled. So everyone tried to see it as early as possible.
Could be. Yeah. I mean, even with pre-ticket sales, they broke a record on their own just based on pre-sale. I was doing a little more digging around, and to my surprise anyways, it's only sitting at 68 on Metacritic.
68?
Yeah, I saw that.
Which, I mean, for comparison's sake, it's only 2 points ahead of Age of Ultron, which was 66.
Wow, that's so weird.
I was super
Are people
surprised
now
at
just kind of trying to dump on it because they're like, all right, too much power?
No, yeah. You know what? I'm kind of okay with that.
I mean, we can get into it once we hit spoiler territory. For everyone listening, we are going to do a top level non-spoiler impression and then kind of go into a more in-depth conversation of this. Kind of want to ask you guys, what is everyone's exposure or involvement into Marvel properties? How well familiar are you with the films or the expanded comics, TV shows?
I think for me, I'm not really much of a comic reader. I just basically watch the Marvel movies and the TV shows as well. That's about it.
The Netflix ones, or do you also watch it?
Both.
Okay.
And and the cartoons as well back in the day.
Okay.
90s Spider-Man and some of the Avenger cartoons.
Okay. Stephanie?
Yeah. Nothing really. I've been watching the new Disney movies, Marvel MCU.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it. My boyfriend's pretty big into comics and stuff, so it's always interesting for me to hear his take on the movies, and almost always I'm just like, oh, how does this compare to the comics? And he always has some kind of interesting insights for me that I really don't have the background on.
Okay.
And I've not seen all of the MCU movies. I don't think there's many people who have, but I've seen a lot of them anyways.
Okay. And Josh?
I grew up with the comics.
Okay.
I had lots and lots of comics. I even had some of my uncle's old comics, one of which was a very early Avengers comic, as well as very early Spider-Man. They're long gone, thanks to somebody throwing them out.
Oh.
Don't get me started on that. So I'm pretty well exposed to a lot of that stuff way back then.
Yep.
And even into the 80s. The 90s stuff, not too much, just because that was nerd stuff and I was a jock at the time. And but I am pretty up on it because I have read some of the digital comics kind of to catch myself up on old things and things that I missed out on.
Yep.
So I'm pretty connected, I guess you could say. And I don't watch the TV series. I couldn't get into Agents of Shield or whatever it is.
Yep.
Just didn't catch me. And the Peggy Carter show didn't grab me either. I love the Daredevil Netflix show. Couldn't get into Luke Cage. Jessica Jones was great. What's his name there?
Iron Fist.
Iron Fist.
Iron Fist. Thank you. Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched Defenders yet. So,
Okay.
I mean, as far as those ones go, I'm not super into it, I guess. But the movies, I'm all over. I see most of them first weekend.
Okay, so I feel like you and me are probably the closest. I grew up on the comics, even like my dad and my aunt, they had like comics going back to the Silver Age, and I read through them as a kid. And
that's gold.
I even built up like a collection of myself when I was growing up, but I don't have the space to keep them anymore, so they're just sitting in an old garage. But yeah, I love the expanded universe. Most of the shows, Agents of Shield, not particularly interesting to me. Peggy Carter, same thing. But in terms of like the Netflix shows and the proper MCU movies, I've watched many times over, so I'm pretty involved.
Sweet. Do yourself a favor, though, Steve.
Yeah.
Get those comics, man. Get them out of that garage and go through them, bag them, tag them, and put them somewhere safe. Because you could be, missing out on something really awesome in there. So
absolutely. I'm not going to get rid of them by any means. They're just sitting in a place until I could get them back.
Just protect them. That's all I'm saying.
They're in
Please.
pretty rough
Speaking
shape.
from experience.
They're in pretty rough shape.
Speaking from experience as somebody who had Fantastic Four #1 in not mint condition, I will never say that. It was in good condition.
Sure.
And it got tossed out, man. Like
yeah, that's rough.
Just don't let it happen to you. Don't become a casualty like I am. Okay.
So speaking like directly to Infinity War, what did everyone think? Top level, no spoilers. Should people go see this movie?
I'll start.
Yeah.
I say yes. Go see the movie if you like comic book films, or if you like just really good action flicks. Go see it. It's a big movie. I couldn't fathom how they were going to fit so many people into 2.5 hour long film. It didn't compute for me. But now that I've seen it, they did a really, really good job of it. It didn't feel like people were crammed in there. It didn't feel bloated in any way. They just had the right amount of every side story that was all kind of bringing the whole arc together. Yeah. It just felt so smooth and really well thought out and put together. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah, for me, like, if you like what Disney's doing with the Marvel Adventures, then go see it. It's fun. It's still entertaining. If you don't like previous Marvel movies, why are you listening to this podcast? But I mean, if you don't like the previous formulas, you won't like this movie. It's nothing completely different to what they've done previously. It's entertaining. I don't think it's groundbreakingly new in many ways. But it's entertaining. It's certainly not bad.
Yeah. Dennis?
If you're a fan of the MC movies or just comic book movies in general, there's something good to be had with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, like, this movie, they could have put like every character. Like, there are some characters who are not in this movie, and if they put those characters in, it would feel more bloated. But they put in the right characters that needed to be in the scenes that they were required to be in, and it felt really natural. It's not, I wouldn't say it's my favorite MCU movie, but I definitely think it's better than Avengers Age of Ultron. So it's like one of the top 10, I would say, of my favorite MCU movies.
How about you, Steve?
I'd put it probably top 5 for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I'm coming off of the high of seeing it on opening night, but I would put this, there's a conversation that it couldn't be #1. I have to ingest it a little more and kind of think about it. I love the movie. I think don't go see this movie if you haven't been invested in 10 years of movies. I think that this was like a proper event movie. I just have to give it up to the Russo brothers for doing this, because they could have easily screwed this up top to bottom. Like everyone was saying, like this is a packed movie with multiple characters, but they just managed to do it. I mean, look at Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3. They added one too many characters and it critically flopped. So congrats to them. I think, yeah, go see it. Don't let yourself get spoiled, because there are some really good parts in this movie.
Oh man, and some of the big egos, right? That they brought together, the big egos and big personalities, put them on screen. You're like, how is this gonna work?
Yeah, it
just did. The writing I thought was outstanding, and yeah, man, I don't know. It was a all around great film.
Really was.
Yeah. There was a lot of lines that just made me laugh throughout the movie. I was like, this is very funny. Like, there's definitely moments like earlier in the movie I'm like, wow, they put that in there. Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, for me, I was so glad they kept themselves in check with not taking themselves too seriously, because honestly, if that had been like what is it, the DC universe?
Don't say
it. Or the Dark Knight.
Or that was it Batman versus Superman, which I'll never let go. I'll never let that go. But anyways, if they had taken themselves too seriously and been serious throughout, I would have been bored out of my goddamn mind. I would not, as someone who's not invested in the storylines and so much the characters, I think I would have been bored. But they didn't let themselves take themselves seriously. They had a good couple of jokes, quips here and there, which kept me like really invested. And I just think they did a really good job with the writing, like you said. It was very quirky and funny still, which I was so thankful for.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's still serious, especially by the end.
Well, let's get into it. Okay, so this is your warning. We're going to go into spoilers, because holy shit, was that Peter Parker scene at the end the most heartbreaking thing I've seen in the MCU so far.
See, here's the problem
Oh my god, we're jumping right to the end, okay?
The problem is, I could not care less, because he's got another movie coming. So I was like, okay, this person has another movie, this person has another movie, this person has another movie. I just like, okay, they're not killing all these characters. There was no...
Yeah, but Steph, you don't know where it lands in the timeline, though. The next movie could land within... The next movie, like, we actually don't really know the true timeline of these films. Like how like it's obviously not likely 2018 right now in the Avengers movie. It's probably 2014, 2013 maybe even. We don't know. We got to like let them play it out, because like the Spider-Man movie, the next one, it could well take place like, almost instantaneously after after Homecoming.
But so many of them, like Black Panther's getting another movie, Doctor Strange is getting another movie. Like they got rid of all the characters which have another movie, and I was just like, okay, they're not actually killing these people.
Well, yeah, we kind of jumped right to that part.
Well, to that point, I didn't really have a timeline for what we were going to say. But in terms of structure, like the only movies that were confirmed were, Spider-Man and then Guardians 3. That's not to say that I don't think that the emotional impact wasn't there.
It was good.
I just feel like the scene, it's like the acting itself, it was really good. Like I was really impressed with Tom Holland. Whether or not, in Avengers 4, and everyone that was turned to ash comes back.
I think that's gonna happen soon. Like it's gonna happen in that movie, because I think they're setting up Avengers 4 to be like, the last hurrah for the like first generation Avengers team. So, because like most of their contracts are running out when Avengers 4 is done with.
Yeah, I was really expecting like the original guys to disappear in this movie. Like there
was a lot of expectation.
I was so shocked.
Or Iron Man to die.
I was so shocked that Tony Stark wasn't the one who disappeared at the end, and it was Spider-Man instead. Just simply because, like, again, I thought maybe Tony Stark would do a cameo in like a flashback type scene in 4, but he would be dead. So I was kind of like, oh, okay. I don't know. The people they chose to disappear just for me ruined the movie, because they've gotten rid of the older folks. the first gen, I would have been like, ooh, this is permanent. But because it was a lot of the new ones that people have been talking about sequels for, I was like, oh, okay, I guess. And plus, they got rid of so many characters, and they kept the ones which I literally could not care less about. And I was like, oh, you're keeping so many characters that I don't care about. But you got rid of my Spider-Man.
But that just raises the stake for Avengers 4, because the ones that are gone out of the picture right now, they're let's just go on the assumption that they're coming back. But for Iron Man, Cap, like the original 6, they now have to figure out a way to bring them back. And guess what? They're still on track to, maybe die in the next one.
I wonder if they'll kill them off or just retire them.
I don't know. There's a possibility that they could recast them in this kind of, reboot kind of the MCU with new faces for these characters.
Well, in the comics, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Thor has like a daughter or something. There's a girl, Thor. So maybe
everyone's taken up the mantle, like Falcon's.
Jane.
Yeah, Jane Foster takes up the mantle of Thor. Falcon takes up the mantle, or even Winter Soldier has, of Cap. There was another Iron Man at some point, a female.
Yeah.
So let's roll it back a little bit to the beginning.
Okay.
We just went like deep into the very end.
Yeah, the beginning starts after the after credit scene of Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Minutes after, I would assume.
Just before, I think, isn't it?
No, because the ship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the strip.
I was really confused about the timeline at first because it seemed to just jump into them getting attacked, and I was like, "What's happening right now?" Like I was so like, "What?" Like it took me a while to figure out what was going on. I don't know. My brain confused all the timelines because I guess I saw a teaser or something where Thor was talking to the Guardians guys. So in my brain, he was already meeting the Guardians. So I was like, wait, why is he getting attacked? And it took me a while to figure out, like, oh, oops, my brain is meshing the teaser.
Yeah,
with
so
the end
I
of
believe
Thor.
that was, I think that was a post-credit scene in Thor Ragnarok where they showed him talking to the guys from Guardians, and then we were all left to be like, whoa, what the hell? Like, what the shit just happened there? And then that left us kind of all guessing, and I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Steph.
that's why I was so confused at the beginning of the movie. I was just like, what is going on? I did not remember this at all. And then it eventually kind of made sense, but at the time I was so confused.
I thought it was a great opening.
Yeah, because it opens up with the Marvel logo. There's no music. There's not the superhero theme. It's just all you hear is
and in the Marvel Studios, you had the number 10.
Yeah.
I've noticed that.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
So because it's like the 10th year of the MCU, because Iron Man was 2008. So.
God, I'm old.
No, it was a great opening, but for me, I was just like, oof. Like, oh, okay, we're starting here. Okay, let's get right into it. No fluff here.
Well, no.
There was no screwing around because they went right into killing off Heimdall and then Loki.
Which I was almost expecting, but at the same time, I went into this movie thinking if they don't immediately establish the stakes in this movie, there's going to be something wrong. But even Loki's death scene, like, oh man.
I thought that they were going to cop out because they said that they were going to kill someone with the first 5-10 minutes of the movie, right? And you know how they killed, I can't remember his name, the gatekeeper?
Heimdall.
Yeah, Heimdall. Like, when they killed him, I was like, oh, this better not be their cop out. And they delivered. Like, they killed Loki. But I seriously thought, like, when they killed Heimdall, I was like, oh, this was going to be their cop out. And there wasn't real stakes. But then they killed Loki. I was like, okay. Like,
yeah, I felt the same exact way.
When Loki died, it in some ways it felt like a torch was given because like I would say Loki's like my favorite character and villain in the MCU, and his death was carried on to Thanos to become that larger and life villain that we saw throughout the movie.
Yeah,
in some way.
No, I agree. I think speaking to Josh Brolin, he nailed that role. Like
he did.
Oh, he's awesome.
So like for years, like he's just been like the CGI figure just sitting in the chair, right? You don't really know what to expect out of like an actual, but we got an actual character out of him. Like this was like
Yeah.
Thanos' movie. When he wasn't on the
It was-
screen,
it
I was
was-
like, "Where's Thanos? Where's Thanos?"
It was a 6-year build-up,
Yeah.
and they delivered on it.
Yeah, I was reading a lot of things online where people are like, "Oh, they did a really good job with CGI because he felt like a part of the universe. Like he didn't
Mhm.
feel fake." And I was thinking in post, I was like, "Yeah, like there was nothing juxtaposed there. Like you're just like, yeah, he's a part of this universe. He didn't kind of get weirded out by the CGI, which I thought was
No.
pretty impressive."
Oh, there's one there is one scene that the CGI looks a little janky though.
Which was
Mark Ruffalo.
Anytime you see Bruce Banner inside the Hulkbuster.
Well, it's when the head
Ah.
comes off and he's like, "Woo!"
Oh yeah,
that was
and
wild.
looks so silly.
it looks so
Bad.
that's fair.
What's the term
No,
I'm
I'm sorry, I was
looking
meaning Thanos with Thanos in particular.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Thanos looked
Yeah.
outstanding, but I mean, and the CGI in general was like incredibly beautiful. I don't even, these people that do this stuff, they're wizards, man.
We've come
yeah,
a
they
long
really
way in
are.
a very short amount of time.
Oh,
Holy crap!
so good. But yeah, this one, like that scene with Bruce Banner in the Hulkbuster, he pulls it up and he's all excited, and you're like, wow, does that ever look like flat like video on top of 3D animation? You know what I mean? It could have been done
Well, you could-
so much better.
You could almost tell that it was a reshoot. Like they just needed like a second or two padding just to show the expression of Bruce Banner, and they're like, "Oh, just come back to the studio for a day. We'll put a green screen around you." That's what it looked
Yeah,
like.
that for me, that was the Superman mustache.
Of the movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I love Superman. I do. I love Henry Cavill, but that scene, like when it first happened, it was jarring, and I was just like stuck staring at it. I'm like, please go away. Please get it off the screen. And it stayed there for too long.
Oh yeah, sorry. Speaking about the CGI, the new Iron Man and Spider-Man suits.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Lit.
they were so good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They were pretty badass.
They were so good.
And I gotta say that I wasn't super pumped about the Iron Spider thing.
No,
I'm just no. I when they first, they're like, "Oh, Iron Spider," I was like, "Oh, really?" That looks whatever. I was like, "Whatever." I gotta see it, and then it happened.
paid
and I'm
off.
like, okay, I enjoyed that. That was kind of awesome.
Like with him clinging to the side, like the inside of the ship as it's like sucking him in.
yeah,
And you see the legs
Yeah,
come
yeah.
out. I was like, oh, or the tumble when he saves Mantis.
yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah, it was great. I take it back. I was super full of bitterness and anger about it, but I
It
really
ma- it
enjoyed
made
the way it came out.
It made sense for the story why
Yeah.
this was this
Yeah,
this
it
suit
did.
upgrade was introduced in the movie.
The one thing I really appreciated about this movie was that it didn't take any time to explain the story for anyone. It was like you're in this movie expected that you know exactly what's going on,
Mhm.
why you're here, because like right off the bat, it's just payoff, like from Homecoming to from Tony and Pepper's proposal. They're married, talking about
I didn't think Pepper Potts would be in the movie
no.
because they were doing the last time she was mentioned. I think it was in Civil War.
Yeah.
It felt like
That
they
they
were trying to
broke up.
write her off.
But then she
Yeah.
came back in Spider-Man
Yeah.
unexpectedly.
yeah,
That's right.
And right off the bat, it's just like, oh no, Doctor Strange comes out of his portal, and then he's Tony, we need you. He's like, okay. Not this like whole like they could have easily spent like 15-20 minutes with Tony just being like, oh, I don't know if I should do this. I gave my word to Pepper. I'm not gonna be that hero anymore and everything. But no, they were just get to the point, get to the action. I loved it.
There was no stop, man. There was absolutely no stop in that action.
I thought it was kind of interesting that Hawkeye, Ant-Man, and I think there was some others that didn't
Yeah.
come in, and then
Yeah.
they just kind of brushed it off as like, oh yeah, they're family, like it's too much for them. And I was just like, okay. And it
They're
was,
going to address that.
So
oh yeah, but I thought it was interesting because it was just like a one-liner that said like, where are they? They're not here. And then
yeah.
the guy next to me after the movie ended, he's like, where's Hawkeye? And I was like, were you not listening, bud? Like there was
that kind of explains why he didn't have a poster.
yeah.
yeah.
So the Ant-Man thing is pretty interesting because I've been scrubbing through the subreddit like day and night because I just can't get enough. But one of the better theories out there is that Ant-Man and Wasp is going to be set pre-Infinity War, and kind of lead into it, where it's pretty much theorized that at the end they're going to go into the quantum realm to get the original Wasp back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense.
And what people are theorizing is that they're going to go in, and time runs super slow in that realm. So they're going to come back way after the end of Infinity War and realize, hey, half the population's gone. Like, what did we just jump out of into?
Oh, right.
And that's going to kind of partly lead into like the fourth Infinity War, where now Ant-Man has to figure out where he is and what his role is going to be.
I think if I remember correctly, and I'll have to go back, but I'm pretty sure in the trailer they do make mention that he's on house arrest and he's got an ankle bracelet that's monitoring him to make sure he's there. So yeah, this can be fun. I'm digging it. Like, and that's why I say to Steph, like, you can't discount the fact that there's going to be other movies coming that they're already announced, despite what happens at the very end, because the timeline isn't necessarily the way in sequence of the movie release. So.
True, especially as I was reading Captain
Marvel.
Avengers, Marvel. That one is coming out 2019, I think, next year.
2 months.
Yeah, 2 months.
Right?
And that's going to
2
be
months
based in the
Avengers.
1990s.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but at the same time,
why...
I just had such a hard time because some of these people have like 6 movies or something and some of them still have 4 to go. So I found it a little bit hard. But I don't know. For me, the stakes just at the end. If they had done it with different characters, I would have felt more like, this is sticking. Whereas with the particular ones they did, I was like, maybe not.
Well, we don't know yet. I mean, maybe they're not actually dead. Maybe they're taken to a different dimension too, right?
Yeah. I think it just puts
they're...
a lot more stakes on who's left, because they don't have the out of being turned into ash, right? They can still royally get messed up by Thanos in the next one.
So there's actually one thing that I'd like to talk about Thanos as a character and his motivations behind it all.
Yeah.
And I thought that his motivations were kind of awesome.
Oh yeah.
To be honest, his whole thing is that, the universe's finite, resources are finite. I'm doing this for the greater good of everybody by wiping out everyone. And there's this really cool scene where he's talking to Gamora and he says, "You only grew up knowing going to bed with a hungry belly. And after I did what I did to your planet and to your people, the kids only know of clean, fresh air and prosperity."
Right.
And I think that's a really, really interesting concept. And I feel like he does. I feel like he is doing the right thing to a degree.
Sure.
It's not necessarily like a nice thing, but he's doing the right thing. He's got the right idea, I feel like. And his end game is to basically create global or universal prosperity and happiness, despite he's making these hard decisions that nobody else will make.
Well, that's just it. He has his like moral compass set, and anyone that gets in the way, he's going to go through, but he sticks to that. Like, you even see in the Wakanda fight, he could easily have killed every Avenger that stepped in his way, but he does it out of mercy, not to kill them all. He's just after the gem, and he's gonna make sure his plan goes through. He doesn't have to kill people. He wants his
agenda to be realized.
Exactly.
Yeah, a good villain like him is the hero of his own story, and he's definitely that.
I also feel they kind of I'm taking a little bit from Black Panther in that you kind of want an enemy which people can kind of agree with, because then it makes them more scary. Like, if it's just a hero that's 2D, like, I think in the comics he just wants to kill because he wants the approval of the scary
Steph.
lady. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's harder for people to relate to than this character.
Yeah.
So maybe it was done for that way, just to make him more compelling, more interesting of a character.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. It worked, I think.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
And also, like, at the very end, like during the whole movie, when he says, "This is what I want to do. This is why I want to do it," and then when I'm done, I just want to take a vacation. Is basically what he says. I want to go to a planet, and I want to sit in my hut, and I want to watch the sunrise.
Which is exactly what he does.
Which is exactly what he does. Which was a very powerful moment, in my opinion. He literally comes out of this hut and he's watching the sunrise and he sits down and he just like, I'm hurting, but I feel like I did the right thing.
Yeah, and it ends in a way that like he wins in the end of this movie.
Oh, for sure he did.
Yeah, he's like the first villain who actually, beats the heroes and wins the battle and wins his ideology.
Mm-hmm. It was really cool.
Well, everyone's saying it, and it rings true. Like, this is this current generation's Empire Strikes Back, where all the heroes are left like in the dust, and there was no hope at the very end. It was just the villain won.
Yep.
Yeah, he did. I don't know. Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah. What did everyone think of that scene between Gamora and Thanos? Because for me, like, I really bought it when he was like tearing up and crying and had to sacrifice her.
Mm-hmm. I think it humanized Thanos a lot more.
Yeah,
like it made him feel less emotionless.
I don't know. For me, I really wanted him to be just a stone cold killer, and there was nothing he loved, and I wanted that to be like a plot where it's like he couldn't get it because he had nothing that he loved. That was kind of like my internal, like, oh, I wish that's how it went. And I thought it was a little bit predictable. I was just like, oh, okay, fine, I guess. All right.
I think that like Gamora was his only attachment. I think after that, he became pretty stone cold in the end. Like, I think that was the only thing that could have held him back later in the story. But it's not like I'm happy that she died.
Right.
It's an interesting story.
I wasn't sold on it, to be honest. That whole scene, I was just like, okay, that was predictable. All right.
But that Red Skull reveal,
that was awesome.
Don't you dare tell me you predicted that one.
I did not. I thought the Reaper was just like,
Reaper,
an avatar and that's it, but it was actually somebody from like decades.
Yeah, when they showed his face, I was like, oh, why does he look so familiar? And then the entire movie, I couldn't piece it together. It wasn't until I read it after. And I was like, oh, this is really interesting now. Like, because I completely forgot where I had seen him before.
Mm-hmm.
Ross Marquand?
He was in
Is that you talk about the actor?
No, the Red Skull, the character.
Okay, so
he was
that character,
Captain America.
that's not Hugo Weaving.
No, it's the guy from Walking Dead, right?
Yeah, it was the guy from Walking Dead, Ross Marquand. He's like an impersonation. Does impersonations of stuff.
I think the actor didn't want to come back for future MCU movies.
That's right, he didn't. Hugo Weaving was like, I'm done. But like Ross Marquand, I don't know if you've ever seen any of his impersonations he does. He does some really big name actors like spot on. It's insane. And that's what he was doing. He was being the Red Skull, but he was being the version of Hugo Weaving's Red Skull that we're all familiar with, which was really, really cool. I don't know. I thought he was great. And that actually opens up, I think, the possibility of getting more Red Skull and future Captain America movies, if there are future Captain America movies.
Chris Evans doesn't want to do any more. So his Captain America will be someone else. Might be White Wolf
Bucky.
Or something.
Yeah, it could be Bucky.
Yeah, it'll very likely be Bucky, I think.
And then if Red Skull does, like, that's the thing, is that they have a slew of surviving villains that they could bring back at any time if they really wanted to. Like Abomination still out there. other ones like that. I mean, like not to lead the like another sequel, but just to bring them back for cameos or just like a guy to defeat at some point.
Or like one of those like like group villain, like
Yeah.
villain has like all these minions. So it's like like a Sinister Six
Sure.
almost, for those villains.
Or even to some capacity, like Crossbones was in Civil War. Just bring him back, have him be there for 10 minutes, and that's it. I think it's cool that they actually brought back one of the previous villains in such a capacity.
Yeah, that's one thing I would never. I don't think anybody would predict that.
No. What did everyone think of the styles in which the gauntlet was used in? Like to showcase like the power of the reality stone versus the power stone and etc.
Oh, I thought it was great because it gives people an actual proper understanding of what that does.
Yeah.
Like the reality stone as an example. When Gamora and those guys, they go to find Gamora, when she goes to find Thanos, and he's kind of like playing out a scene, and then she attacks him and she thinks she's killed him, and it leaves the audience kind of like, really? No, that can't be right. And then it shows that he's already got it, and he kind of like, well, I kind of knew you had that in you.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And he makes it, he reveals to everybody the whole place is actually on fire. It's not as, in good a shape as you think it is. And he's definitely not dead. His reality is what you want it to be. And I think that was pretty awesome how they showed that.
That whole scene had like tricked me again because, they killed Thanos, and I was like, I wasn't keeping track of time or anything. Didn't have a watch on me. So when they did that, I was just like, man, what a cop out. What a freaking lame ass ending to this. And then they revealed that it wasn't real. And I was like, what? Like there was
only 45 minutes in, Steph.
Look, I had food poisoning that day, and I was like, had my eyes closed for half of that.
Excuses, man.
I my sense of time was not there. I was not in a good state for that movie. Oh, good lord.
No.
But
you're rough, man.
But yeah, so also don't go see AVX movies when you've got food poisoning.
Good tip. Tip of the day.
Yeah.
No, I really liked it because anytime that he would use a specific stone, the environment would change to that color, like especially the gauntlet itself. Like when he was using the power stone or the reality, it helped the audience decipher which ones he's using at the time.
For me, because I have really, 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 really bad short-term memory, or just memory in general, they like named all the stones, and I instantly forgot which one was which. So I was just like, oh, okay, I guess this purple power is this one, and like the time one is this one. Well, the time one it was a little bit more because they mentioned it like 5 million times. Can't take my time stone. Can't take my time stone. So that one was like, okay, like the green one's the time stone.
Yeah, you memorized that. The time stone was the green one.
Yeah, I got that.
And then the yellow one was the mine. I forget the other ones.
Yeah, all the other ones. No, they mentioned it once, and I was like, okay, but I don't remember. But yeah, I think the special effects once again were just fantastic. And I think it wasn't super important. Like even if you didn't know like this particular stone was this particular aspect, I don't think it mattered that much. But it was a nice nod. I think it was really well tied together for people who are a little bit more invested than I was.
Yeah. I don't know. Was there any like standout scenes for you guys?
For me, I think the standout scene was like was Doctor Strange and Iron Man's like relationship through the movie. Because like I think the first line that I remember is like, what Iron Man's like, what exactly is your job? Making balloon animals? And Doctor Strange's like, protecting your reality, douchebag.
Yeah, when he said douchebag, I just died. Oh.
Yeah. That's because like, in some way Doctor Strange and Tony Stark are the same character, but just like from different perspectives.
Yeah.
Aren't they both Sherlock Holmes? Now that I think about it?
They are.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That was definitely done on purpose.
But yeah, like the whole like calling him wizard thing was just, I don't know, it never got old for me. Every time that's the wizard, I just died. And I don't know why that was so funny to me. But yeah, Tony
No,
Stark
no.
and Tony Stark and Doctor Strange was a highlight for me, and then also Thor and Star-Lord. That
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah, because Star-Lord felt so emasculated because I think I remember like when they got him out of space and be like who is this and what is he? He's like he's some dude. Like
He's
Drax
not
is
a
like
boy.
you're a dude.
Yeah, this is a man.
He's a man. He felt so emasculated. Like he was thinking of getting dumbbells and
It's like
Yeah,
you're
and
one
then
sandwich.
Bowflex.
You're one sandwich away from being fat, and I.
Yeah, you can't eat a
lost.
dumbbell.
it's funny because the actor was like he was pretty chubby on Parks and Rec.
yeah,
So
Chris Pratt.
I was like, yeah.
You could stop massaging his muscles now. Like, it was
Yeah.
so funny. Like that whole thing was like, "Are you mocking me?" I was just like, "Oh, Star-Lord, are you making your voice deeper?" Like I was. That whole scene was so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
Josh,
I will say this: my daughter, that crew of characters is so important to the MCU now. It's not even funny. Like, and it's not even just my daughter. It's like other kids that like my other friends of mine whose kids like when they're cutting through different scenes or different people, everybody instantly recognized that it was the Guardians of the Galaxy scene. Like immediately, just as soon as like
The
they
music
went to like
yeah.
they cut to
Space.
space and you hear
Yeah.
music, my daughter, who's only 8 years old, she started like grooving a little bit. I'm like, what are you grooving to? She's like, I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm like, how do you know it's Guardians of the Galaxy? She's like, Dad, it just is. And she
It's
just
gotta be,
knew. And I think that was really cool to see. Like, I know she is a big fan, and I know other people that their kids are huge fans, and they also felt the same way. As soon as that scene came up, they're like, bam, that's Guardians, and I'm so pumped for this scene.
Yeah, especially when it transitioned. Like,
Yeah.
you heard the music transitioning, and then you saw space, and it said space in text. It's like,
Yeah.
the
And
Guardians are
kids
coming.
know. And I don't know, I love it. I love those characters.
Oh my god,
I
Team
don't want to ever
Groot.
see them go away.
Team Groot.
Oh yeah, so angst.
Yeah.
So angst.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm Groot. So
Every single time
Yeah.
I'm convinced that I'm going to hate Groot, I love Groot. Groot is just so
Yeah.
adorable. Oh.
even though he's technically dead, or the parent is.
I love that scene. He's like, wow, you got some acorns on you there, buddy. Ever since you got a little bit of sap, you've been real surly, sort of thing.
Yeah, it was so good. The writing
tree
is
puns.
so good.
But Josh, to bring up your other point, like they were able to take characters from other, directors and help make them feel at home in this movie.
Oh, that whole like
Mhm.
you speak Groot. It's like, oh yes, it was elective in high school. I just
Yeah,
oh
like, and it all felt natural. Like I was reading that like the Russo brothers took on like James Gunn and Taika Waititi to like
Yeah, they
executive
all
produce,
collaborated
yeah.
with the directors just to
They
make
needed
sure that
to.
they got the characters right.
and it
Yeah,
showed.
I think they needed to.
Yeah.
Yeah, they hit it right on the head.
Because
Yeah.
especially coming off of Thor Ragnarok, like it would be impossible to see him go from like this super comedy driven Thor into like mega stakes in this movie. And I think they even touched on it when he was talking to Rocket and being like, I've lost literally everyone in my family. Like my best friend got stabbed, but he basically uses humor as a defense mechanism. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought
My
it was
sister
really well
stabbed
done.
me in the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, it was kind of giving like I understand you, Gamora, about you, Thanos. Like my sister stabbed me.
Yeah.
Family
Brother
suck.
just keeps betraying me, whatnot. So
Which actually, you know what? Speaking of Thor, let's talk about for a moment. Let's talk about a little dude who had a big role in this movie.
Sure.
Mr. Dinklage.
yeah,
He seemed bored.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I know you and I talked about it, Steve, but I loved seeing him in that movie as like this monster sized dude.
Yeah.
Playing I guess he's playing a dwarf, right?
Mhm.
Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
a label, I guess a space dwarf, and they're massive there. And I don't know. At first I was like, oh my god, it's Peter Dinklage. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What a great character. What a great guy to have in that part. And then as he started kept talking, I was like, he just sounds like he needs to be replaced again. Like his voice needs to be replaced by somebody, just like it was in Destiny. You know, like he didn't sound like he gave a shit about anything going on. Like he just seemed okay. I'm collecting a paycheck. Yay me! I am Peter Dinklage, and I am super surly and super monotone.
Yeah, it was super. It was super. It was the weakest part in the film for me. Like anytime those scenes on like the Dead Star were going on,
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't buy it. It felt like he was trying to do his role from Game of Thrones as Tyrion, but in a different movie.
Yeah, the scene was just like just for the sake of it. It wasn't given like a lot of
Hey,
effort.
is it a hammer or is it an axe? Because
It's an axe.
Oh,
It's an axe.
Stormbreaker.
whatever.
Stormbreaker is an
Stormbreaker,
axe.
That's an awesome name.
Okay. Because I saw that written somewhere else. So like, oh, to give him his hammer, and I was like, I swear they said it was an axe.
No, it's an axe.
Okay. Yeah.
So that axe is carried by a different character in the Thor universe originally.
That's what I heard as well.
Yeah, Beta. Is it
Beta Ray Bill.
Beta
Oh,
Ray
yeah.
Bill. Thank you.
I've seen that guy before,
Yeah.
like in the Lego games.
Do you think that will be homage to the next gen? Like someone will pick up that axe?
I
mean,
think we'll see Beta Ray Bill eventually.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I saw like articles that Chris Hemsworth is one of like the only OG characters who actually wants to stick around past his contract. He was like really stoked after coming off of like Ragnarok and this movie. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm here as long as they want me to be. So I don't know if they'll get rid of Thor.
I wouldn't be surprised by that because, like, you know, like the Thor movies, like Thor 1 was, you know, it was okay.
Mhm.
Like, Thor 2 was like really bad, and like after Thor 3, like Chris Hemsworth has very good comedic chops.
Yeah,
He does.
He's very good.
His delivery's great.
Yeah. So I would like this. I would like to see it.
Steph doesn't like him, but
I mean,
Well, he has the abs though.
no,
Like,
he's gorgeous. I don't mind seeing him on screen more. I mean, I was pretty happy this movie. There was lots of Robert Downey Jr. We had lots of Chris Hemsworth, and we had what's his name, Benedict Cumberbatch. Like I was just like, yes,
Chris
all
Pratt.
of my and Chris Pratt. Yeah, I was like, yes, I am perfectly happy this movie. A lot of good looking
me
men.
too. Man crush on Chris Pratt. What can I say?
yeah.
Not that I
beard
blame
on
him.
Chris Evans.
No, I didn't feel that so much.
Didn't like his beard?
No, not a fan.
You had a beard problem.
I like the reference of the beard, like near the end. He's like, "Yeah, you doing the beard look?"
Trying to look like me.
Thor
Eh?
said, like,
Copying my
looks
beard.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. I don't know.
I'm curious what you guys think were the most underperforming characters in this, because I have a lot of strong thoughts on this.
For me, it was Black Widow. I mean, she took part in like that awesome like train sequence with Captain America, which like gave me the chills when the music started playing and you see the train going by.
Oh
and
yeah,
you see the
that
silhouette.
entrance.
Like, I got the chills in the theater. I was like, ooh. But she really had no outstanding role. I mean, she was included in like the fight at the very end, but otherwise
She is the most boring vanilla ass character for me. I could not care less about Black Widow. Like there's so many other, like, you know, the bald warrior lady, Okoye, I think her name?
Love her.
Okay,
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Yeah.
She's such a strong presence. Like
She's great.
She's so amazing. She has so many good one-liners, and like she's just so fierce, and she
Yeah.
has such a presence. Like, you know, whereas for me, Black Widow is really just the most vanilla, boring character I could ever see. And they're like, oh, she's getting a solo movie. And I was like, yeah, that'll be one I miss.
I love Denai Guerrera. I think she's outstanding in everything she's ever been in. From that movie or the TV series she did on HBO, Treme, to Walking Dead, to this, like everything she does, I'm just like, I'm a big fan. So yeah, she's a great character. You're right. She's absolutely super strong, very, very strong presence on screen, and she captivates you
And-
the second she steps in the frame.
I apologize. I'm so bad with people's names. But, you know, Black Panther's sister?
She's awesome
also
too.
so good. And I'm just like, why
Yeah.
can't they do more with Black Widow's character? I don't know why she's not more interesting. She's really, I don't know if it's just me, but I find her really boring. And honestly, I find Hulk kind of boring as well.
Well, we can cut this conversation off right now. Hulk is awesome.
Yeah, Hulk wasn't really that much in this movie.
No, he
'Cause
said
I
no.
think after
He
he
didn't
got
want to be in
beat-
it. He said no.
Yeah, after he got beat down.
Not
by
only does
Thanos,
the
it was
actor
like-
not want to be in it, so does the Hulk itself.
I think we're
Yeah.
going to see Grey Hulk in the next movie.
Ooh.
Oh,
Grey Hulk is the smart Hulk, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. But in this movie and in other ones before this, I never found his character super compelling. I don't know about you guys.
I mean,
I think they did like a good job portraying Hulk in Thor Ragnarok, but everything before that was like there wasn't really much there.
well, I think it all started with like Age of Ultron. He thinks Earth hates him after what happened in Sokovia, that he just left, and I think that was like the benchmark for like a really good story for Hulk.
Because they really can't do a Hulk movie.
No.
Because, Universal owns the right,
Yeah.
the distribution right. So
Well, and I don't even think the actor wants to do it.
Oh no, he's in. Mark
Is he?
Ruffalo.
Who?
Yeah.
Ruffalo? I thought he was like super hardcore into
Yeah,
Was
this.
he?
sat,
Oh, okay.
he sat down with Kevin Feige, and he proposed this like multi-film arc for Hulk, because he's like, hey, if we can't do a Hulk movie, how about this? And Kevin Feige was like, yes, we'll start
Huh.
with Ragnarok, and that's what's leading in like this.
yeah, Thor Ragnarok was basically a Planet Hulk movie. In a way.
Yeah,
It was.
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't want to do I don't get it. Why they don't want to do another like standalone Hulk film.
because
It
Universal.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, they want to do it, but they can't do it. Universal owns the distribution rights.
To what? A standalone Hulk film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. This whole like Marvel rights thing is a disaster.
It's a pain in the ass
Well,
is what it is.
Well, it's because
It's-
Marvel
it's-
sold off all their properties to stay alive, like in the
Yeah.
like the early, like
In the
late 90s,
90s or
early
something.
2000s. They were tanking, so they sold off all their properties, and then John Favreau was the one that had the Hail Mary and started this whole thing.
Man, what a shame. It's
Yeah, but
it's
now
really
they're
too bad.
trying to get everything back. So
It's not like Disney doesn't have the money to back up the trucks and just be like, give us back our shit.
I mean, if
Here,
they're going,
have a dump truck of cash. Let us have our stuff back. We'll make one movie and we'll make it all back. Like, big deal.
yeah. I mean, Disney threatens
Or-
movie theaters, so I'm sure they threaten other people in other ways.
Sure. They absolutely do.
the
But, like,
mouse
they could
wants it.
seriously just be like, here's the deal. Give us what's going on?
What?
Oh, my computer started like talking to me. Sorry. They could just like
Jarvis?
back the truck up and be like, here's the money, and then we'll give you 10% of whatever toys are sold, whatever, or merchandise. That company's still gonna make so much money, and then we get what we deserve and what we want. We get all the proper handling of all of our characters that we know and love. They should just do that. But speaking of Jarvis, that kind of piqued me for a second there. What'd you guys think about his arc there today or in this movie? Vision.
Honestly,
Well, Jarvis is Vision, but yeah.
Okay, Vision and Scarlet Witch, is that her name?
Yeah.
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 Could not, again, I don't know, super shallow characters I just couldn't connect to. And I just, their whole thing, I thought they were really boring and they didn't have a lot of chemistry and they felt kind of forced together for me. And the whole thing, I found it hard to care for. Like, I thought there was more chemistry between Tony Stark and Peter Parker than there was between two people who are supposed to be lovers.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I found both of them really boring.
Although there's one thing I noticed about Scarlet Witch is that she dropped the accent.
Why?
I missed that.
What accent does she have normally, and what does she?
German,
She's from
I think.
Sokovian.
Sokovia, that Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
She's from there.
Oh, okay.
So she had that accent for like all the movies she was in, and this was like the first time I noticed that she was just using her regular voice.
I've just noticed that like Elizabeth Olsen is a fine actress, but she cannot hold that accent worth shit. Like in
She
all
is
the
fine.
movies, like it comes in and out. Like I don't know if the specific take is just the one they go with and it isn't included there. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like it just wasn't there this movie.
fun fact about Paul Bettany.
Mm.
So he played the voice of Jarvis, right?
Yeah.
And now he's Vision. The voice of Karen inside of Peter Parker's suit
Okay.
is actually his wife, Jennifer Connelly.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh.
Also, one other additional fact:
Yeah.
we
Mhm.
share the same birthday.
Well,
Wow.
I mean,
I just want to mention that.
that is one claim to fame, my friend.
No, I'm just saying. It's the only famous person I know that I shared my birthday with. So
But I'll ask this question to Josh. Do you think that we'll get Vision back in Avengers 4, but he'll just be the black and white Vision?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think they kind of foreshadowed that too, right? When they took him out and his colors went very muted. I feel like that was foreshadowing. I think he's not going to be completely intact. His character he's not one of my favorite. I'll be honest on that, but he definitely has a lot of potential to be extremely interesting and to do some really cool stuff with him. I think they will. He is coming back. Probably somebody's going to get their hands on the time stone, I think, and bring everybody back somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe I think maybe Vision even might be very pivotal to that. We'll see. They did kind of talk about how he is the best of Ruffalo's character and Tony, and there's bits of the stone in there as well.
Yeah.
So I think like the combined genius of Tony and Ruffalo could easily be a big deciding factor in how that story plays out in the next movie.
Yeah, maybe one line I didn't get was Thanos saying to Tony something along like, or you're also cursed with knowledge, which I
Right.
thought was an interesting line. That I was like, is he talking about, because Thanos is like, oh, I'm this greater good and I know better than everybody else. Was it
Right.
talking to that, or was there like more meaning behind that as someone who doesn't have more knowledge?
I think it has to do in the original Avengers movie, because when he goes up and
Yeah,
there's
I
a
agree.
portal,
Mhm.
I think something happened, and he I think he may have gotten visions of something. I don't know. It never really went into specific of what happened.
Yeah. No, I don't have a follow up to that.
Yeah.
Okay, I know. I was just wondering
Yeah.
if there was something to it, because it seemed like a
It
very
was a vague line.
yeah.
I think Dennis is right, because Tony did at the end of the first Avengers go into that wormhole, right?
Yeah.
And he saw what was there, and he's known that something was coming. And Tony even says at one point in the movie, he's like, "This guy has been haunting me for 6 years now."
Right.
Mhm.
I think that has a little bit to do with it for sure,
Yeah.
because I think Thanos probably saw him.
Sure.
Maybe, yeah. I just thought it was a very interesting line where I was just like, I wonder if this
Yeah,
is foreshadowing something.
Yeah, good. It's a good thought for sure.
One thing I want to ask you guys is, like, going through each one of you, what are your theories on the future of the MCU, like leading into 4 and past that?
So I think we're getting. Well, I know we're getting Ant-Man
Right.
this year in a couple months, and we're gonna that. You make some really good points earlier when you say that they're probably going to go to some other dimension and bring back the original Wasp. There's going to be some pretty cool stuff in there. I think we're going to see some more foreshadowing, and maybe even I think we're going to have some pretty cool cutscenes at the end too. I think we have to. I think that's where we're going to see Captain Marvel for the first time.
Okay.
That's my feeling on that. I know they foreshadowed, they kind of hinted at her. I think we're going to see some big characters at the end of Ant-Man, and then of course we get her movie next year, and then we get the next Avengers movie, and that's going to correct things to some degree, I guess.
Yeah.
It's probably somebody's going to do something with the time stone and roll things back is the only way I can see it, but I'm not an intelligent person and I'm not in charge, so
We're no
just
Kevin
kinda-
Feige's here.
yeah, we're not. Yeah, God, it must suck to be him, right? I wish I had his tax problems.
Dennis, Steph?
Yeah, it's hard to really predict. Like, I think the setup for Avenger 4 is to set up the new Avengers.
Right.
Whoever may be like the leader on that team. I know. I definitely think Captain Marvel is going to be like a Captain America role, and I think Black Panther could be like the Iron Man role.
Yep.
But it's just a good way to, you know, reshuffle the deck of the Avengers and tell new stories with these characters in an Avenger movie and maybe other future movies as well.
Sure.
Other than that, I just want to live and see what happens.
Can I just say one thing real quick? And I don't know if it was a promotional video that they showed or if it was actually a cut scene from the movie.
Yeah.
But there was a scene where there was all kinds of fighting going on, and Doctor Strange was there, and Iron Man was there, and there's this girl. She's listening to music, and it's a black girl. She got, you know, she's just kind of grooving the tunes, walking away, and there's like all kinds of stuff going on around her, and then Doctor Strange opens up a portal, and she kind of like walks through it, and she's on the other side is like home, and that character or that person sure looked an awful lot like the female version of Iron Man with the way the comics went to me.
Oh.
I think that was a commercial.
I know. I don't remember if it was a commercial or like what it was for, but my God, I was like, oh my God, they're actually gonna kill off
I remember seeing
Iron
that.
Man.
Yeah,
I've never seen that.
She looked the part, man. Like she looked the part.
yeah.
Perfect.
I know, like the type of character you're talking about. So yeah, that would be interesting if they did that.
Or like, was it a cut scene? I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out soon enough.
Steph?
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't have enough knowledge about this whole universe, but I do have the overarching feeling that they're going to bring back most of the people who quote unquote died in this movie.
Yeah.
Using either the time stone or some other bullshit like the power of friendship or some garbage like that. But no, I think they'll bring back some, and then there'll be some kind of plot hole as to why certain characters can't come back because some of them their contracts are done. Like the Heimdall, is that his name?
Yeah.
Heimdall?
Yeah, he's done. He hates it, so he's definitely dead.
Oh yeah.
And I think there's a couple more as well. I don't know off the top of my head that disappeared, and their contracts are up. So I think those characters are going to find some way to be like, oh. I don't know, they were too far gone or something. I thought it was kind of interesting that way, that like half the characters are like, okay, like they're probably gone, and some of them are like, maybe not.
Well, I think anyone that turned into ash comes back, but anyone that actually got killed, I don't see a reason why they would come back. Like Loki, Heimdall.
There were several characters who turned into dust who their contracts are up.
Sure, but you know what? Money talks and BS, you know,
maybe,
or BS walks. Like you can say that you're done with the role, but if they're not done with you in that role, they'll make it happen, and they'll make it happen with money.
Yeah,
that or
they have the cash.
They might
to do
find the reason, like some lore.
Some for sure. They'll just like get rid of. I agree with you. I think Chris Evans's days are very numbered. That's why I was shocked that he wasn't one of the people that turned into Moondust.
Well, he's got one more movie left, and so does Iron Man.
And that's next
Avengers
year,
4.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Avengers 4. So
and bring the OG team.
And they're confirmed for those movies. So I was like, okay, it makes sense that these guys haven't died, I guess. But like you said, I think it would have been interesting if it's like they had died this, and then it was just like flashbacks or something in the next movie. I would have been like, okay, this is like final. But to me, I think Disney likes money too much, and they can make a lot of money off of Doctor Strange and Black Panther. And I think those guys are still down for making more movies.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure they've got a few movies.
I'm stoked for another Black Panther movie.
Oh yeah, I like
too.
both.
I'm pretty sure that what's his name there for Spider-Man. I think he's got like a 6-film contract.
So he's got a large one. I know that.
Yeah.
And I like him. I like his character a lot. I like this Spider-Man.
Yeah, Tom Holland is he's a lovable dude.
Yeah.
I won't dispute that.
He's so lovable.
Yeah, but don't put the script in his hands. He's just gonna say it.
I mean, I'm not sure if they're gonna kill the previous ones or they'll just retire, because this is like a whole big thing that's happened. A lot of trauma that happened. They've just been like maybe because they are showing their age even in the films, right? Like they're not trying to hide that these guys are aging. So maybe, and then they were even kind of hinting at it with Iron Man, right? Like, oh, can't you stop wearing the chest piece, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, sorry, I can't, and this is something I have to do. So maybe he finally gives it up after the next movie, and he becomes a regular citizen and has a baby, and that's it. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe that's how
I think
it
he
goes.
has to die.
Yeah.
At least one of
I
them.
do.
At least one of like the main four, like Hulk, Cap, Iron Man, or Thor. One of them has to.
I'd be fine with them killing Hulk. I'd be very, very upset if they kill Iron Man.
Stop. Just stop. Just stop.
There's some characters I'm okay with them killing, and I'm like, yeah, all right. And there's others where I'm like, I'll be heartbroken, especially if they like brought back Spider-Man just to kill Iron Man in front of him, or it's like a, what do you call it, like the equivalent exchange, like in
Sure.
order to get them back, they have to die.
Yeah.
I would be very upset about that.
Yeah. It's gonna be exciting times. I have my like own predictions for the movies. I think. I mean, Josh, you probably read the Infinity Gauntlet comics, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have
Parts of them, yeah.
yeah. I have a feeling that Captain Marvel is going to take over the mantle of Adam
Leader.
Warlock and be the one to wear the gauntlet and reverse everything with another snap of the finger. I think that's the only
But
reason.
Adam Warlock's been teased, though.
Adam Warlock has been teased, but he has been almost confirmed by James Gunn that he's not showing up until Guardians 3. So I think the only other character we're getting introduced to or have been introduced to that would be strong enough to, or, powerful enough to wear the gauntlet would be Captain Marvel, or I don't really know the point of bringing her in. I could be totally wrong. That's just my theory.
But they did talk about the destruction of Xandar, so perhaps with the destruction of Xandar,
Adam Warlock
In
is
the
with
movie.
the gold people.
right? But that's true. I don't know. I feel like there's got to be a connection there, though. He could be like woken up by it, maybe.
Sure.
I don't know.
Like I said,
I don't know.
I don't know.
There's so much going on.
I'm just
there's
working
so
off
many
what I've
characters
heard,
drawn.
yeah. And then the last question, I think, before we all take off here is, if you were running, the MCU, what is there a specific character you guys would like to see get a movie or another movie?
I guess part of me would. I know this would be like the third time of this happening, but I just kind of just want to see what an MCU version of Fantastic Four would look like.
Yeah.
Would it? I just want to be it seen done well.
Sure.
For the third time.
Which? Sorry, I missed that.
Fantastic Four.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I really can't think of anything on the top of my head that I would want to see be introduced.
Sure. I mean, third time's the charm. It worked for Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess so. I want to see the Skrulls, man. I really do. I want proper Skrulls. Like, those guys are badass.
Oh, then you could do the Skrull storyline.
Yeah, you could do Secret Wars.
Yes, you could, and that would be freaking awesome.
Well, apparently
that-
you're getting your wish with Captain Marvel.
We'll see. I don't know.
That's
Maybe.
just what I've heard.
Sony owns the Skrulls, so
Isn't it Fox?
is it Fox?
Fox.
Oh, maybe it's Fox. I thought it was Sony, but yeah, it doesn't. Somebody else owns it, and that's why we got what we got in the original Avengers movie. Yeah.
Steph, do you have a character you'd like to see come back for a movie or introduced?
I would like to see more Doctor Strange or Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just like all of the characters in those were really, really good. Especially Black Panther. Like there wasn't any characters I didn't really like. So like their whole thing would be I would like to explore more of. And yeah, I don't know. I thought it was pretty interesting because I don't know much about the universe aside from the movies, so exploring more of that side would be interesting. But I like Guardians is always good, so and getting the third Guardians is good with me, and getting another Spider-Man is also good with me. So I was happy with those. If we could get another Black Panther and Doctor Strange, that would also just make me very happy.
Yeah.
I agree. Those would be fantastic. Sooner than later, I hope.
Yeah, that would be a good start to Phase 4. For me, I kind of agree with Dennis that I'm really interested to see how they bring in the Fox characters, and specifically, I really, really want them to do Silver Surfer.
Yeah, Galactus.
Exactly. Do a proper Galactus, do a proper Silver
Yep.
Surfer.
Not Smoke.
Or even like lead up to Galactus, because they're going to have to start
Yeah.
thinking about what the large villain's going to be. And the only two I can
Yeah,
really think
'cause-
of to follow up Thanos is Doctor Doom or Galactus.
Oh, Dark Doom. Good. That would be good.
Oh, Doctor Doom. Yeah, no, that's really the only character I'm super jazzed about hearing more
Yeah.
of.
Silver Surfer was originally was in the role of the Hulk, was he not, in the comic books? He's the one that crash landed into Doctor Strange's place and was like, Thanos is coming.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what I thought.
Okay. That's interesting.
But yeah.
That would be cool.
Do you guys have any last thoughts before we end this?
Keep making good superhero movies, because the second that they're not entertaining, I'm out, because I got a lot of the superhero fatigue. That's about it. I mean, I'm still cool with these ones in particular because they're quirky and fun. But honestly, the second they get rid of that, I won't be seeing anymore. I don't think I'm gonna see Ant-Man, to be honest.
Whoa.
I know.
Oh, I think this is gonna be a good Ant-Man too.
Yeah.
I didn't love the first one.
He was funny
I
in
thought
was it Civil War?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
he was pretty good. in
Yeah,
that.
he was good in Civil War, but I didn't like the first Ant-Man
No
movie
one
that
did.
much. It's
So
kind of boring.
I enjoyed
Yeah.
it. Enjoyed it for what it
I
was.
liked it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think this is gonna be a great Ant-Man movie. So let's drive home a wicked Ant-Man film. I don't know much about Captain Marvel, so is it Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
Make me care about her. I didn't give two craps about Black Panther, but now I'm like, damn, that dude is badass. So do the same thing for her, and let's just keep pushing forward with some like crazy jaw dropping moments, because there were more than a few times where I looked over at my boss, because that's who I went and saw it with on Friday. We're both like, holy shit, did they just do that? Wow.
Yeah.
And that's what I want.
Yeah, please make Captain Marvel really badass and not boring. Like,
Like
I would be
Wonder
so
Woman?
disappointed. I didn't mind Wonder Woman. I'm thinking more like Black Widow. Please don't give her Black Widow treatment.
They're definitely not.
Dennis,
Dennis,
that's all I want.
what are your closing thoughts?
I don't know. I really like this movie, so just more of that. I don't know what's happening after this, because I hear they have plans up to 2025 for Marvel
Yeah.
movies.
Mhm.
So just hope they can keep this up without getting me bored.
Yeah.
3 movies a year for like the next,
Yeah, they already got
7 or
3
8
movies
years,
out
whatever it is.
this year. Like July is going to be the last Marvel movie for this year,
Mhm.
so I don't know what's going to happen after that. in
Crazy.
2018. Yep,
Printing money, that company, man.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Smart
$4 billion investment.
businessman
Paying
over
off.
there.
Well, that about wraps up this inaugural episode of the Canadian Spoilercast. Guys, if people wanted to connect to you out on the interweb, where could they find you?
I'm on most things as Maple Thistles, but I'm most active on Twitter. And please don't come at me with your hate.
Yeah, be nice, people.
I'm all down
I
for
hope you're not
discussion.
getting hate Stephanie.
Dennis?
You can find me on Twitter at @slasher13. I tweet some things and stuff.
Cool. Josh?
You can find me at pixelserial.com, where I neglect my website, and also on Twitter the most at Xbox Canada, just because that's where I throw out my musings.
Wonderful. And you guys can find me on Twitter at svigvari. And thanks, guys. Thank you, Dennis, Josh, Steph, for joining me and talking all about Infinity War. This was fun. I really hope that we can start doing this a little more. These in-depth conversations.
We have a whole summer of big film, my friend.
Maybe we could talk about Ant-Man. I don't know the Wasp. Yeah, we'll
Maybe
see.
that dirty Han Solo movie too.
We'll see about that.
We'll see.
So until then, please tune in next week for the proper Canadian Geekcast, where we'll discuss more things, games, film, television, and why pineapple is the worst pizza topping
Even on
in
the
history.
spoiler cast?
Even on the spoiler
Dick
cast.
move, man.